Hey guys, duel back with part 2 on the second night. It's not 6 a.m. Yay. I can get sleep tonight. Yeah, I'm probably gonna end this around 45 maybe? Maybe 45 for 1. Not sure. But yeah, part 2 of What If Deku was in Pacific Rim. And we left off with Deku exiting the hangar in his new Jaeger Titan Hero. So, the new category 5, the new breed of category 5 is the skull basher. I'll put a picture of it now. This is the skull basher. Ignore the boats. The kaiju is what I'm focusing on. So Deku exits the hangar in his new Jaeger Titan Hero to see this monster tearing down skyscrapers of the city he's lived in for the past 6 years. Not 6 years, I think it's past 4 years. Yeah, for the past 4 years. Where he's made friends, and he's even got a part-time job one summer when he had some free time. And his boss was like family to him. And now he's watching the city being ripped apart by a singular kaiju. And in the distance, we can see a Jaeger, specifically this Jaeger, running directly at the kaiju. This Jaeger will not have a name. Let's say it's Bravo Lance. Yeah, Lance Bravo. That's the name of this Jaeger. And as Lance Bravo is dashing towards the Skull Basher, he's requesting aid for the Category 5 Kaiju. As he says, as Beta, I'm just gonna call it Beta from here. No, it's Bravo. Lance Bravo. So Lance then requests aid from the unregistered mech, from the unregistered Jaeger. Considering this is Category 5, he requests aid. As he's clotheslined by the Category 5. And before he can even get a shell out or punch in, the Category 5 destroys the cockpit. Deku watches this, and with his head down, he raises it, and he then says, Titan Hero, engaging. This goes over all intercoms and comes out of the speaker. All surviving civilians then turn to see. I really hope I saved it. I don't think I did. Fuck. I'm still looking for a second though. Damn it. There it is. To see this. To see this. As it starts bolting its way down to the Category 5 Kaiju. Now, during this entire endeavor, there's been Deku's dad, who is now inside of November Ajax. What is left of November Ajax as it's being repaired. And he's initiating Project Blackout. Now, I recently watched Pursuing Into the Black, and if you don't know what the program is, it pretty much drops all satellites that orbit around that part of the continent. Let's say the continent they were in was Australia. I will not be referring to any of the cities in Australia. Let's just say it's Australia. Because that was the designated area for his training. So, if November Ajax is currently initiating Project Blackout, as we cut back to Deku. Deku is running towards the city as he sees the Skull Crusher beat the fuck out of the mech that requested aid. He then pulls out the two arm blades, having a prior knowledge of how Obsidian Fury worked, and since his mech is based off that, yes. He pulls out two plasma swords, and that gets the Kaiju's attention. The Kaiju then stands up and runs over to him. As he gets there, Deku goes for a slash to the head, but the Kaiju ducks. And in one foul swoop, there's a horn through Deku's left leg. And there's also a sword that just hacked off the Kaiju's right arm. Deku then, with his second hand, grabs the other Kaiju's horn and snaps it, leaving it inside the leg. The Kaiju then bracks up in a flurry of pain, and without even stopping, Kaiju charges up a full power blast with all the kinetic energy it has, because that is one of the abilities Kaiju has. But before it can make the hit, Deku already releases full weaponry and blows it to fucking smithereens. Now, as he finishes the fight, Ajax, not knowing this happened, right before the Project Blackout goes into convenience, Deku raises the sword into the air and says, "I am Titan Hero." Now, that happened, and now the satellites are falling from the sky, and Deku knows what's happening. His dad told him about this. So Deku runs back with what strength he has left. He runs back to the base headquarters. He runs into the hangar, and being intelligent and knowing exactly what he has to do to preserve himself in the future, he grabs 10 power cells. He grabs all of them. Let's say it had a total of 100, and let's say Deku's mech, because it was a one-seater, had a lot of space, so he was able to store all of them. And because it was meant to be a long battle, he was able to store 100. Let's say it was 93, because there were 7 Jaegers on site, and he left an extra power cell for every one of them. So he took 93 power cells and stored them in his mech. He also took a Jaeger repair kit, all the tools he would need. And then he saw off to the side. Deku sees this. Damn it. Deku sees this. It's a prototype Jaeger was meant to handle extreme cold and be very durable. He thinks it'd be useful, so he grabs it. And by grab it, I mean he gets in the Neuralink, and with Obsidian Fury, also known as Titan Hero, he picks it up. Now, the name of this Jaeger is Arctic Cross. So he picks up Arctic Cross, and he runs into the desert, saying fuck off to all of the people in the city, thinking he'll be back, and he'll help. So he takes Arctic Cross along with his Titan Hero, and he runs into the desert. He then stops when he finds a canyon with a waterfall and some vegetation. He sets down Arctic Cross, and then he disengages from Titan Hero. And then he engages a weaponry, you would say, from Arctic Cross. Cloak. It cloaks Titan Hero and Arctic Cross and prevents them from being seen by him or a kaiju. But since he knows where it is, it's fine. So what he does is he spends 4 days building houses and creating a small farm. Now, mind you, Deku's 10, and all forms of electricity and communication are down, aside from Jaeger and power cells. So then what Deku does is he takes Titan Hero and he repairs his leg. With spare parts he loaded up. So patched up, completely fine. Now, Deku then runs back to a small town and grabs a Jeep and 5 other cars. I'm not going to go into particulars, just cars. He then runs them back along with 4 tankers. They say it took him 3 trips. So he got 4 tankers of gasoline. And he also picked up a convenience store he picked up a convenience store. He stashes all of this in a cave, by the way. All the vehicles, all the gas, all of it. And then he takes out 1 Jeep. The Jeep he got minus, and there were 5 separate other vehicles. He takes the Jeep and he drives back to the city. He also brings something he's been designing. We won't go into it. But he's very careful not to distract any kaiju. And he manages to find 5 people. 3 of them are about his age, 10, and they're girls. The other 2 are boys, and one of them's 9, the other one's 11. The 11-year-old tries to take the car away from Deku, but Deku quickly snuffs out the idea with a punch. He then says, "Listen here, you are not taking this from me. I don't care how much older than you are. I am saving you. So don't be a dick. If you want to live, shut up. Get in the car and let me drive." 11-year-old quickly hushes up and recognizes Deku's authority. And Deku then drives him back to the canyon. And then he learns their names. Jane. Sarah. No, that's his mom's name. Sorry. Jane. Carly. Tessa. And there's Blake. and Thomas. I will not remember those names. Hold on. I will not remember those names. Shit, I forgot them. Jane. I believe it was Jane, Carly, Tessa, Blake, and Thomas. I gotta write this down. I'm changing one of the girls' names to Jane. Just saying. Okay, so as they get back to the settlement, they start asking Deku questions like, "What's your name?" Like Jane, which is I'm replacing the girl with the name started with J with Jane. Jane asks, "So what's your name?" He replies with, "You can call me Deku." Or she says, "Oh, my name's Jane. That's Blake, Thomas, Tessa, and Carly." He then says, "Nice to meet you." She then asks, "So where are we going?" "We're going to my camp." "You have a camp?" she says. "Yeah, it's on the outskirts. I believe it's on the outskirts, but we can get there in the gas we have. Don't know if we can get back though. Might take us a while. We might have 4 trips." She then says, "Oh, okay." Deku then asks if he's hungry. She then says, "Yeah, I haven't eaten in days." He then hands her a candy bar he got from the and says, "Give some to the rest." Then hands her 2 more. She thanks him, and they don't talk for the rest of the ride. When they arrive, Deku shows them their houses. It's nothing fancy, just a couple of shacks thrown together. He then says, "If you want anything better, you have to make it yourself. I live over there." He points to the cave. "I prefer if you didn't go over there, and I won't be in there much. But try to respect my privacy." They all agree, and for the next month, Deku doesn't leave. He spends time cultivating the farms and helping build houses. They now have 5 free houses, like extra ones. And Deku then says, "I'm going out to look for more survivors. It's been 2 months, and if anybody's alive still, they'll be out there hiding." She then said they all say okay. And then Jane and Blake asks if they can go. Deku says, "Do you guys really think you can make it? And do you really want to go out there again?" They think on it for a second, and Blake backs out. But Jane stays, and they go into the city. As they're driving through the streets, and if you're wondering why Deku can drive, it's because he has the brain capacity of a fucking, like, a 50-grown man, and he's 10. So Deku is driving through the streets as 3 kaiju hounds see him. Immediately he says, "Fuck," and he steps on the gas. And as the dogs are chasing him, they're at the bumper already. And there's barely any room between the accelerator and the floor. He then says, "We only have 1 chance." He then says, Jane, take the wheel. She says, but I don't know how to drive. He says, take the wheel. She grabs the wheel and he jumps over the seat into the back. He then smacks his watch, and a military grade pistol pops up in his hand, and he starts firing at the hounds. He manages to take out one that was in the lead, and it trips the other two. She then says, "Where'd you get that?" He says, I'm a cadet. I got my pilot's license before it all went down. But I don't have my Jaeger or drift partner. She then says, that explains so much. And then she says, Blake and me, not Blake, Thomas, Blake and me were supposed to be cadets too. They said we had high drift proficiency. He then says, oh, that's neat. And an idea sparks in his head, thinking that might be useful. But he says, there's no need for us to stick around this half the city anymore. We know they're hounds. So he drives around for about half an hour longer. He comes across a woman, which is about in her early 20s, who is very hungry and is about to pass out from starvation and dehydration. As she's about to fall on the ground, seeing them, Deku jumps out of the car and grabs her. He looks down at her. She looks up at him and says, help me. He then picks her up with his monstrous fucking strength and abs and puts her in the truck. He then says, this is enough for today. If there are any more people, we'll come back. We'll ask her when she wakes up. So, Deku drives back, and when he gets to the settlement, he gives her some food and some water, and she wakes up. She introduces herself as a woman named you know what? This isn't because I'm forgetting anything. Let's say her name's Sarah. And I gotta go put this in my notes. You know what? We're changing the name. It's not Sarah, it's May. Now, if you watched Into the Black, you know what I'm talking about. I'll pull up a picture later. But, yeah. She introduced herself as May and how she was recently recruited to be help with training at the academy. Not academy. At the core for cadets. She was pulled in for a certain high priority student, but she never met him. He gets slightly suspicious and says, well, this is our settlement. It's called Outpost. It's a canyon, and there's a waterfall where we get most of our water supply. It's blocked off so no pollution gets in. And we have some vegetation on the north side. We have some vegetation on the northwest and east side. The south side is pretty barren. It's also the building area. We have a house made for you, but if you want, you can crash in my place. The other places aren't very comfortable, and we haven't established heating yet. She says, thanks, kid. I think I'll take you up on that. All of them smile, and he then says, here, as he throws her some clothes. She's kind of confused and asks, "Where'd you get these?" He says, "When I was establishing this place, I made sure I got everything we would need." She then says, "You established this place?" He says, "Yeah. Nobody else was gonna do it. And if we don't have a safe haven, there's no reason why the kaiju shouldn't take us. If we don't have a safe haven, then there's no way for us to feel safe. And if we don't feel safe, then there's no way for us to progress. Safety is key in all forms of progression. You cannot progress in a state of war or fear. So I prioritize this." She understands slightly and wonders why a 10-year-old has this kind of fucking motivation. But she accepts that it's just how he thinks. And that he matured fast. She then asks, "Where are your parents?" He says, My parents were November Ajax, the pilots. They're both dead. I found them in the city. All of their parents are dead as well. You confirmed it. We found their bodies. What was left of them? She then asks, "What are your forms of protection?" "These walls and this." He then shows her the bracelet, which is in fact a shifter. What it is it's a prototype of what the Kaiju Defense Force was. I can't remember. Somebody comment the name of the fucking headquarters, because I can't remember if it's the JVL. I'm gonna say it's the JD. I'm gonna say it's the JDF, Jaeger Defense Force. It's a prototype the JDF was working on. It can transform into one of three weapons, either a combat knife, a short-range pistol, or a long-range rifle. But it has limited ammo. And it uses a fairly good amount of energy. She then asks, "What do you do for power?" They say, "We don't. We use fire." It also... She then asks, "Where do you get your gas?" I stocked up on that before we came. I'd say we have about two more trips. 2 or 3 more trips back to the city before we're out. This is of course a lie. He has fucking like 4 tankers. In a whole kind of fucking convenience store. Wait, it's not just a convenience store. He made sure to pack it with essentials like generators and fucking copper wire, some hammers, hardware, pretty much saws, anything they need. She then says, "Can I see it?" He then says, "No. We don't know you. We don't, and you've given me no reason to trust you. I believe you, but I don't trust you. This is my settlement, and I'll protect it. But I will hold you in high regard because you are one of the highest intellects among us at the moment." She then looks at him like, "What the fuck? You're acting like you're smarter than me." May then responds with, "Okay then. But can I have a sharp rock or something to defend myself with? And I prefer to catch my own food." He then says, "We've established an agriculture route. You can use it, but you have to grow what you eat. Till then, we'll feed you. May looks at him like, this kid's a natural born fucking leader. And for the next 5 months, so it's been a total of 7 months since Blackout, they've lived there. Them, nobody else. They've established a fairly large amount of empty houses. So, what Deku does is he drives to a nearby town and gets a fucking school bus. And he goes on a whole fucking... He's gone for 2 days. And he comes back with a fucking 28 people. Now, he goes in and says, these are the new guys. And then he hands everybody who's been there the entire time, including May, guns. She then asks, where'd you get these? He says, there's something I picked up along the way while I was gone. He then says, in May? Here. He hands her the bracelet and says, I trust you. You've given me plenty of reasons to. Flashback. Over the 5 months, May saved them about 7 times? No, that'd be too fucking weird. Saved them about 11 times. 3 from rattlesnakes. 4 from falling, like, into the canyon. 1 from drowning. Another 2 from eating poisonous plants. And then once. She saved Deku once. Now, you're probably wondering, how'd she save Deku? I'm not telling you. So, she then takes the bracelet and says, thanks. Zuko. Now, if you're wondering, she's the only person that knows his real name. Everybody else in the camp knows him by Deku. Now, it's been 7 months, and the current amount of people who are populating the area are, I believe it's... we took 5, 3 girls, Deku, May, and the 28 kids. That's 37 in the village. They have a village of 37 people, and they're doing amazingly well. Now, it's been 2 years since then. And Deku and May are like mother and son. And May is the only person Deku opened up to, other than one person. Jane and May. Jane and Deku are in a relationship. They are a couple. Blake is with Tessa, and Thomas is single. So is Carly. And yeah. I'm not going to go into the ages of the other 28 because the other 28, I'm not feeling to give all names because I cannot think of 28 names. You ask me to name 28 different Pokemon, I'll do that for you in an instant, but fuck namings. So yeah. The 2 years is up, and Deku's out picking some berries from the farm, and he's walking into the house where he lives with May. And as he walks in, he says, "Hey, May." No, let's say he says, "Hey, Mom, do you know where Jane is? I haven't seen her all day." She says, "No, I haven't seen him. I haven't seen her. But I think one of the guys, I think it was Blake. Yeah, I think Blake was looking for her too. I haven't seen him in about an hour, though. She is currently cooking. If you're wondering how, it's over the fire. In their house, they have a fireplace. So, yeah. There, she's cooking. She says, okay, well, here's the berries you asked for. As they hear a rumble. This rumble is a category 2 kaiju. Now, the kaiju is not too big. I'll pull it up, I'll find it. Here we go. Now, as you can see, this kaiju is blind, but it has a very keen sense of smell. So that's how it tracked the village. It peeks its head over the thing and sniffs, and then it licks its lips. Deku is looking at his window as he sees this, and then he sees Thomas get eaten alive. This nearly snaps him, and May's rushing out the door. He grabs May by the hand and says, Mom, get in the house and get to the back room. She then says, what? We don't have a back room. She sees a serious look in Deku's eyes and says, alright, Izuku. So she walks with him to the back room. As he kicks open a wall, what looks to be a wall, and he walks in. She looks around to see 4 tankers of gasoline, 5 cars, 2 fucking Jaegers, an entire convenience store, and says, where the fuck has all this been? And it says, I'm Solo. And then he climbs inside of Titan Hero. But you can call me Titan, he says over the comms, as he busts out of the fucking canyon. As he does, he sees 15 kids, including Thomas and Carly, and Blake, dead. Now, the kaiju then runs up and tries to bite Deku's arm off, but Deku catches it with the hand, and with one command, this sword pops out and decapitates it. It's dead. And now, everybody knows Deku has a Jaeger. He then gets out of the Jaeger and says, this is my fault. If I would just pay more attention, I would have been able to get out of here faster. May then runs up to him and covers his head and buries his head in her chest and says, it wasn't your fault. But then she asks, how were you able to pilot that Jaeger alone? He says, so Mom, I was that kid you were sent to train. She then says, huh? You? Yep. Ajax kid. She then says, okay. Well, we have to go now. You have to go now. You have too much here, and you need to find. So you need to take. What's the right word? You have too much power to be wasted on us. I love you, Izuku. I do. But I can't anymore, and you'll grow to hate yourself if you stay. So he leaves behind 10 Power energy. Fuck, I forgot the name of it. Power cell. You must find 10 power cells and Arctic cross along with the tankers of gas in the convenience store. It then says, train Jane and then come find me. So he then runs off to hunt kaiju and save people as a hero. The only person coming with him is Blake. No, Blake died. Let's say instead of Blake dying, it was Tessa. So he's bringing Blake with him. They are both currently 12. No, Blake is 13. Yeah, so Deku's walking off. As he approaches the city. And that's where we're gonna end it here. Deku is currently approaching the city, where he took down the behemoth, also known as the I forgot the name of it already, where he took down the Category 5 Titan. I just said Titan, Kaiju. And we're gonna end it there. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, tell me what the abbreviation for the Defense Force is. Because I believe it's Jaeger Defense Force, so JDF. But I'm not sure. Well, either way, like, comment, subscribe. Duel out. Thank you for watching, demons, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, bitches.